Yo guys, what is up? This is Real American Studios and welcome back to How I Would Book Wrestlemania 36 Part 2. And when we left off last time, Cesaro became your new Intercontinental Champion. Cesaro is one of my favorite superstars, so it could be biased. But I think Cesaro, you need to start building him up, because can you imagine the matches he could have with guys like Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Randy Orton? Those are pay-per-view level matches, and I understand they're all on different brands, but when you're building up Cesaro, you don't, like, once he does everything on SmackDown, you can move him over to Raw, and he can do a lot more. But I digress. But immediately after that, we get our Raw Tag Team Titles match, and obviously Rollins and Murphy, they're going in as champions. But their opponents are Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish of the Undisputed Era. And I think Undisputed Era's done plenty. It's time to move them up to the main roster. And they're going to Raw. Why? I don't really know. But they're coming to Raw. I mean, SmackDown would make more sense because they're on Fox, so you could have one giant stable. But in this case, O'Reilly and Fish are turning face. The Undisputed Era is turning face. And, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong help O'Reilly and Fish win the Raw Tag Team titles. So now O'Reilly and Fish have moved up to the main roster. They've already beaten Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, and they have become the champions. So Undisputed Era immediately looks good. So that's going to be awesome. Alright, and we follow that up with the SmackDown Tag Team Titles match. And I've already used O'Reilly and Fish. I don't want to bring another two part-timers out of retirement to face Miz and Morrison and make it a prestigious match. I didn't really want to use the Hardys in another WrestleMania moment Tag Team Championship. So I put together a tag team of Mustafa Ali and Shorty G. And to be honest, no, I'm not having them win the championships. I'm having Miz and Morrison retain because it's too early to have them lose the titles. I think they should go on a nice run with the championships. But I do have Ali and Shorty G put on a good performance, look strong, and now you have another tag team other than New Day and Usos. You can do so much with Ali and Shorty G, and eventually you can build that up to Shorty G turning heel, which would be awesome. Turning heel on Ali. I couldn't see Ali as a heel, so I digress, though. That would be a great match. And obviously, like I said, make them look strong, but Miz and Morrison retain because, you got to build them up. Because, you kind of botched Morrison's return. You had them lose in multi-man matches, and you also had Morrison get eliminated in 22 seconds by Brock Lesnar. So you got to build them up. But now I'm on the final page. Yes, I have 3 pages worth of WrestleMania matches, and we're starting off the last bit of it with the SmackDown Women's Championship match. It is a triple threat. You have Bayley, the champion. You have Naomi, and you have Ember Moon. Now, I know you probably were thinking, is he not going to insert Sasha Banks into this? No, it's not time for Sasha Banks yet. Sasha and Bayley, it's not time yet. So, Ember Moon. I really like Ember Moon. I think she should be built up. She's amazing in the ring, and she wins this match. Ember Moon is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. Bayley obviously goes crazy and attacks both women afterwards. You're keeping it a triple threat. Sasha Banks, you can have her in that. You can make it like a 4-way rivalry. Alright, next up, the NXT Championship match. And yes, I want an NXT Championship match on the main show at WrestleMania. And the champion, Adam Cole, who just helped O'Reilly and Fish win their tag team championships on their first night on the main roster, gets turned on by O'Reilly, Fish, and Roderick Strong and Keith Lee. Oh, well, you know what? No. because I want Keith Lee to stay face. So they just have a great match. Keith Lee wins. I'm not ready to split up Undisputed Era yet because they've got to make a run. I'm sorry about that. That was stupid. So Keith Lee wins. Keith Lee is your representative on NXT as the NXT champion, and like Adam Cole shakes hands, hugs Keith Lee afterwards, and they move on. I mean, I know I really wanted Adam Cole to get turned on after helping his partners win the championships, but I can't do it. Adam Cole is like, he loses his title. Keith Lee is your new champion. Keith Lee can start being built up as a monster. Keith Lee is just fucking amazing. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I love Keith Lee, and I want him to look good. Alright, next up, the real Universal Championship match. The Fiend versus John Cena, with The Fiend absolutely wrecking John Cena. The Fiend has got to look strong. It was not time to have him lose. Like, in my opinion, there's only 3 men that I could believably see end up defeating The Fiend for the championship. That is Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman demonstrated in the past that he has superhuman strength. But again, WWE is ruined him to the point where I don't care about him anymore. So you have to build him back up as that monster. You have to start having him do all the different athletic things he used to do instead of just slamming people and throwing them all over the place. Like, I want to see those drop kicks again. Like, I want to see that type of crap from Braun Strowman. Not just punch guys in the face and power slam them. Like, because he's boring, and there's no reason for him to be a comedy act either. The other 2 guys are the Demon Finn Balor, because, I mean, you kind of got the, hey, we're supernatural guys, we're going to do this, yay, And then Keith Lee, a guy that you can build up in NXT to eventually take that title from The Fiend. I could see that too. But Goldberg, John Cena, Roman Reigns, no. No, just no. Unless they do something absolutely crazy. Like, literally, the only way I could justify them beating The Fiend is if they literally pull a Samson in the Bible, pull out a pillar, and the whole freaking building falls on The Fiend, and then they lay down on the rubble and pin The Fiend under that. Like, that's the only way I could justify the Fiend losing to someone that's either not monstrous or not supernatural. Because Goldberg is definitely not monstrous. There's nothing about him that looks monstrous. Like, the guy walks out, he's walking to the ring, and within 20 seconds, he looks like he's out of breath, and he's like doing that little snorting thing, like he's supposed to be mad, like no, you just look like you're crying because you hurt your headbutting the door, and not to mention, the guy looked like he looked exactly like he just did last year when he gave himself a concussion, headbutting the door. The only difference, he wasn't bleeding, but he had the same exact face going, so. I mean, I guess Goldberg just has a permanent concussion or something. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't like Goldberg. And it's only because of that. Like, Goldberg does not need the championship. Brock Lesnar, I can believe, because, I mean, you literally had the guy destroy Ricochet. Speaking of that, I didn't put Ricochet or Samoa Joe anywhere on this card. I literally, like, 8 men in the ladder match would have made sense. Ricochet and Samoa Joe. Plus, they would have added something to the ladder match, so I screwed up there. Just imagine I said Samoa Joe and Ricochet are in the ladder match. Alright, so next up, we definitely have the greatest match of all time. You have the high-flying Big Show versus the greatest technical wrestler of all time, technical specialist, the Great Khali. And I mean, let's be honest, guys. I don't know why it's here. It should be the main event of Wrestle. Okay, I'm just kidding. We have the NXT Women's Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. And I, I should have put this match after the match that's going to follow this. I mean, this could be a main event level match, but in the end, I have Rhea Ripley retaining. I don't think Charlotte Flair should beat Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. I just don't. It just doesn't make sense. So, yes, Rhea Ripley wins. This is obviously going to be an amazing match. Next up, I put these guys on the card for reasons. Daniel Bryan and Rey Mysterio are going to wrestle. I guess you could say it's a dream match of sorts because, I mean, they're two very good wrestlers, and Daniel Bryan ends up winning the match. Neither one of them are going to be heel. It's going to be a face versus face battle. I don't know how you're going to build it up since they're both... You know what? SmackDown and Raw. Imagine they kind of like, well, we can battle to see which brand's better. And Daniel Bryan wins for SmackDown because SmackDown is on Fox. SmackDown is supposed to be the A show now, which SmackDown just does not feel like an A show at all. Like, I mean, but Daniel Bryan wins. Like, Daniel Bryan and The Fiend are literally the only two big stars I can think of that I can believe are well, Roman Reigns too. There's three guys that I can really see as champion. I mean, that's kind of sad. And then Miz is awesome as a heel, but he just has that mid card feel. He doesn't really have that main event level field. So, you know, like, I hate that, but that's just how it works. Next up, the match everyone's been waiting for, Edge versus Randy Orton. I'm just playing, guys. Obviously, you guys were waiting for Hornswoggle versus Miniature Kane. I mean, that would be the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, with Miniature Kane winning. And then, oh wait, no, Super Showdown, Saudi next year, Mansoor versus Hornswoggle in the main event of the next Super Showdown event, or Crown Jewel, whatever the next event is in Saudi Arabia. Mansoor versus Hornswoggle in the main event for the WWE Championship. Book it, Vince. Book it. No, but seriously, Edge versus Randy Orton. I have Edge winning this match just because, I mean, it's his first match back, singles match back. And, I mean, Orton can lose and it doesn't hurt him at all. That's just how his character is. He even comes out looking badass in the feud, so you can have him come out looking badass in the match too. Like, maybe set it up where Orton is going for the punt kick that he used to do, and Edge gets up as he's running and spears him and pins him 1, 2, 3. But I mean, like, this is going to be a good match, I think, as long as Edge. Like, I don't think Edge is going to be as rusty in the ring as like Undertaker or Goldberg are when they return, because Edge, he's younger than those guys, and he's not a big guy. Like, I feel like getting older, because I mean, you saw it with Mark Henry, you've seen it with Big Show. Kane getting older with big guys really seems to affect their ring performance. Whereas, you know, you take a smaller guy like when Jeff and Matt returned, like, they're both still very good in the ring. So it's like the size sometimes affects the wrestler. I hope that makes sense. And finally, we have our WWE Championship main event, Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre. And obviously, this is going to be an awesome match. You got two big guys, two very tough guys, just beating the living crap out of each other. And I'm really excited for this match. If Drew McIntyre does not walk out as champion, I'm going to riot. Alright? If Cena beats The Fiend, I'm going to riot. If Roman Reigns doesn't beat Goldberg, I really don't give a shit. And you know what I do? Roman is champion. Like, Roman's still a good wrestler in the ring. Don't get me wrong. I love Roman. just not at the Fiend's expense. But obviously, I've got Drew McIntyre winning the match. Drew is the new face of the company. That's literally why they turned him face. Number one, they know that him and Lesnar beating the hell out of each other is something that everybody wants to see. And number two, I mean, Seth Rollins definitely failed as the face, but Drew McIntyre at least doesn't have too much controversy behind him. So, also, McIntyre said that when Jinder Mahal returns, he's going to be different. So, at the end of this match, I would love it if Jinder Mahal came down and like him and McIntyre kind of hugged it out and celebrated together. I know you're turning Jinder Mahal face in this case. I mean, but like I said, like I would love it if they hugged it out because you know they both were in 3MB. They both got released from the company, and they both ended up getting re-signed and eventually becoming WWE champion. So I would just love this. I'm not even gonna have Jinder Mahal turn on McIntyre here because I mean, well, since they were both in 3MB, got released and become champion, it would make a lot of sense. But I don't want to ruin this Mania moment because I mean, you think about it, Mahal literally opened up the event, the whole event, by winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and then like this year, I would actually have a belt for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal just because you're having this moment. I wouldn't even have a trophy. I mean, Mahal walking out with that giant trophy, no. But if he's got the belt around his waist, like that would be more interesting. And you can have them two celebrating. They raise each other's arms while both of them are holding their title belt. I mean, you could even have Mahal come back and win that U.S. title ladder match, but I mean, I wanted a Lester Black. So, I mean, obviously the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal belt is not as prestigious as the WWE Championship belt, but it's just a great moment for like Mahal and McIntyre. They both were heels. They both were in 3MB, not going anywhere in their careers. They both got released, and then they both ended up coming back. They both ended up becoming WWE champion against all odds, and now they're both face and they're both celebrating. And eventually, you can build Mahal up to like. I mean, I wouldn't build him up to win a Universal Championship.